Well, ahoy there, people. Ahoy there, fellow pirates, and welcome to the wackiest, zaniest, and most rubbery podcast on the Grand Line. That's right, we're diving into the world of One Piece, where pirates eat more meat than the carnivores island, and where swords can talk. Join us as we navigate the treacherous waters of humor, dissecting everything from Luffy's appetite to Zoro's directional challenge swordsmanship. So sit your course of laughter, hoist the Jolly Roger of giggles, and get ready for a podcast adventure that's wilder than Buggy's hair. So let's go on ahead. Let's do this. I'm excited to have Jamie with me. I'm excited to have Rossie, my good friend and co-host, with me. So let's go on ahead. Let's set sail. Let's go on ahead and review One Piece. And hey, guys.
Hey.
Ahoy.
Ahoy there.
Right, ahoy.
Ahoy, matey.
Or matey.
Are we supposed to talk pirate throughout the whole thing or just the intro?
Yes, savvy. So anyways, guys, like I said, we're going to be diving into the world of One Piece. This is season 1 of One Piece. I'm here now. Here's the thing. I'm not the biggest anime fan or anything like that. Right. I'm selective on certain animes that I watch and things like that, but I do know the lore behind One Piece and things like that. And I don't know if Rossie's an anime fan or anything like that either. And I know Jamie is very selective as well with her anime and stuff too. But we are going to handle this with care. We are going to end up enjoying this review because we did enjoy this live action adaptation. But coming out of the gate of me knowing the lore of of this One Piece and things like that, I really felt like they actually got the anime right. The creators were behind the Netflix's thing. That's why Netflix's One Piece. That's also another positive. This reminds me of so much of The Last of Us, to where everything was like on point, where people would actually be going, "Arr, I love this." Okay. So, anyways, so what did you guys think of it? Of the opening and what your opening thoughts are?
Jamie, you go ahead. You go first.
Yeah, so I'd watched One Piece anime, only one episode.
Right.
And it's something that I enjoy, but I talked to my friend Tyrone who pushed me into it and said that the 1,000 pushed me out of it. Like hearing that there's 1,000 episodes to me was like, oh, what am I even starting for? It's so long, too many. So this One Piece live action version captivated me because I was like, okay, 8 episodes, doable, or was it 10? Either way, doable.
8.
Yep. And yeah, as soon as I watched episode 1, I was just invested in these characters, and we couldn't put it down. I think we finished it in 2 days. Because it was just like next episode, because you just fell in love with these characters. They were so likable, and the very one episode that I did watch was exactly like the show. Like everything that I watched from that anime looked like a live version on episode 1. So yeah, I was really invested in it straight from the start.
Yeah, me too. I did the same thing. I watched one episode because I too was told by many people, if you want to get into anime, you got to watch One Piece, but there's like over 1,000 episodes, and then I felt the same way. Like, where do I start? So right. I just put on a random episode just to watch a little bit of it, so that before I watched the live action show, and it was really awesome to watch that first episode, which is called Romance Dawn, and to see the characters be put together so well, like in the world of One Piece anime. It was really exciting. I definitely fell in love with what's his name, Luffy. Loved him, a great character, and from there I finished it in 2 days as well. I binged it out in 2 days because I had to go to the next episodes. It was really good.
Definitely draws you in, especially from like the very get-go of whenever you see Luffy. He's actually on his little boat, and he's over there talking to us, breaking the third wall, which is something that I really liked, was the fact that he was introducing us to him and for the very first time, to allow us to know what's going on in his world. But also, too, I like how it also opens up to the pirate getting executed, and then all of a sudden there's chaos of
Yeah.
the pirates looking for the One Piece, and then it goes into how Luffy just wants to be a pirate, and knowing
Right.
that he wants to be a pirate and knows his own self identity when everybody thinks that he's just in over his head and he doesn't know
Right.
anything. But I love how true he is to himself and how open he is about who he is. And I also have in my notes too, I like how he actually chooses characters that are just has that much passion and love for
Right.
what they want to do. And that's how he selects the people that he's with. And I think that's one of the important things here is friendship. And
I love that.
even though at first they're like, no, we're not a crew.
Right.
This is my crew. No, we're not a
Right.
crew. So I definitely like that.
I like that too. I like when he approached them as friends and wanting to know, like, what's your dream? You know, what is it
Mhm.
that you, and he asked everyone, what is it that they wanted to do? Just like Kobe, you know, when he first met Kobe, and you know what she wanted to do or he wanted to do, and you know, wanted to be a Marine. And so I thought that was really cool. And just his energy, he's just a likable character. Like and it matches the anime as well. He's just, I really like him as a character. He's a good person. And
Yeah.
I like that. And just the clothing, the style. I mean, they did such a great job bringing that to life.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Luffy was probably one of my favorite characters. He, as you said, he likable, like delightful. And what I
Yeah.
like is he encourages everybody to follow their dreams, even if
Mhm.
their dreams are opposite to his. Like as you mentioned with Colby, like he's going to be the enemy. Marines would be enemies of
Right.
pirates, but he was
Right.
still
Right.
like, go and be the best Marine you can be. Go and be the best version of yourself, even if it's not what I agree with or like. And I really love that. That's like true friendship, you know, like just supporting you regardless. It's really good.
Absolutely. And how he found them, how he went to, you know, every dock or whatever town they would go to, he would find, you know, each of them. And I liked how they showed who they were, how they told, you know, Luffy's story, and then they go back to his childhood, so you can get a little bit of who he was at a very young age. And like Jamie said, just always wanting to be a pirate. He knew he wanted to do that. And then when you meet Zoro and how we meet Zoro and how they go into his childhood, it's just the way that they set the story up, and how they found each character was just, it was exciting because you wanted to, you knew there were other characters that he's going to meet, and you're looking forward to meeting those characters that you see in the anime cartoon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt though too, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because this thing has a lot of world building, a lot of ways of actually building this world up, and it could feel convoluted to the point where it might take you out of it because they're also showing you an origin story behind these characters. But no, it makes you love those characters even more. So if something happens to them later on in another season or whatever, you
Right.
care about these characters, you're rooting for these characters. These characters are also very relatable though too. And I like that whole entire setup with Kobe whenever he first meets them over at this other pirate's ship, and he's afraid of everything. He's shy, timid. He's very fragile, and
He's a
he's like,
slave to
right,
Elvira.
and right, and he winds up freeing him. And basically, Kobe never forgets that. And I like how and finally, whenever you see them at the Marines' place, he's like, "I just want to let you know, once you leave, you'll be an enemy. But right now, you're my friend."
Right.
Yeah.
I thought that was a very sweet moment.
And I like how Kobe's just a good person as well. The fact that Kobe's a Marine, and like, you know, when they separated, you know, Luffy was okay with that. But throughout, you see that Kobe's not willing to do anything that's not right, you know, because Kobe wanted to become a Marine to help people. And so the fact that you get to see the progress of Kobe and finding, you know, his voice and, you know, standing up for himself and all that. I really like that character as well. He's a really good character.
Same here. And I think that that's very important to have because they could have just left him at the dock and introduced him for season 2 and then do a whole origin story of setting his character up for season 2. But no, they let him grow within the first season.
Absolutely.
And they put a lot of meat into this to where you can enjoy it and it doesn't feel forced. and the way that they were able to bring certain things out of it, I loved. And then also through the pirate lore with Shank and with Shanks though too, and explaining to Luffy, he goes, "Look, you did not get those scars on your own. You did that self-inflicted. That's not the same thing as going out on this adventures like we are, or anything. You self-inflicted that, and that's not being a pirate. Even though you're trying to prove something to me, that's still not being a pirate." I liked how it goes into that childhood, and then he winds up drinking this voodoo, a magic thing to make him rubbery, which I thought was so hilarious.
It was awesome to see them be able to recreate what he's able to do in an anime series. And this is me not really knowing, One Piece like that, but looking at the series first, one of the episodes and wondering, how are they going to make his arms do that? How are they going to, you know what I mean? They did a really good job because the graphics were great. I mean, when his arm first extended, it was like, oh my gosh. And then as it goes along, he even does things that he didn't realize that he can do. So the fighting scenes were just amazing. I loved each and every fighting scene. And I always loved when Luffy was going to fight, because what is it that he's going to discover that he's able to do? I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Especially with that whole entire thing with Alvida and everything.
Yeah, right.
And when he frees Kobe, I just thought that was hilarious. Like, he just winds up kicking her over the overboard.
Right.
She's like and I actually pictured this, okay? I actually have this in my notes. Where I said, this is basically a video game, if you think about it, like a fantasy video game where you're doing these side missions.
Yep.
And then you get over to the main boss, which is the big pirate.
Right.
And then you're trying to fight that pirate.
Yeah.
And that's what I got initially from that. But I just love it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the pirate, how they introduce each pirate in each town. The wanted picture would come up, and then it would burn, and you get to meet that pirate. So then, as the show goes on, you're getting, okay, this is how each episode goes. We're going to find another pirate that's wanted. And I loved how they did that, because it was like a video game. You're on another mission, and by the end of that episode, you got to complete that mission, and then you move on. So it was beautifully done.
And I felt like it was completed, as you said. Like, we got to meet Buggy, and it felt like Buggy's chapter was closed. But then, he popped up in another episode a bit later on. And same with Carl Loyal. I can't remember how to pronounce it, but the one that was like with the cat. You know what I'm talking about? The cat pirates.
Yeah.
I forget his name. I can't pronounce it even if I could remember it. But anyway, he's the butcher, the butler. Sorry, the butler.
Oh, the butler. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So same with him. I loved, meeting these enemies, getting to know them for a quick little bit, and then the next episode we're on to a new pirate and things like that. Like, it didn't seem drawn out, and even though they might have still been in further episodes, they were still very interesting. To me, anyway.
Right.
I really liked Buggy. I really liked him. Not Zorro, because he's on the crew now, but what was the other one? Mihawk, the one with the swordsman.
Oh, yes.
Loved him.
Yes.
And we know that they're going to pop up in the future of this series, but yeah, just seeing their little chapter open and then close, I just felt like it was a little teaser of what we're going to see in the future, and I really liked that. It wasn't overdrawn, or it wasn't not enough. It was really good.
Right.
Exactly.
I also like the fact that, if you're not into anime and you haven't watched anime, how they're able to explain, you got over 1,000 episodes of One Piece, and how they're able to just explain everything in 8 episodes. Like, anyone who hasn't watched anime now could watch this, understand what's going on, and then go watch the series and get the characters, know what's going on. It's not complicated. They simplified it,
And a matter of fact, my stepdaughter went on ahead after she got done watching live action. She ended up binging all of the One Piece stuff. She even went on Hulu and binged the rest of the anime over there.
Right.
But
their anime's good. It's really good. I didn't think that I would watch it and like it, but watching that one episode, I could go and consistently watch One Piece anime series. It was just they did such a good job that it made me want to go and watch another episode, and I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, absolutely.
Another thing though too I want to talk about is I like Nami. Nami was actually a great character as well.
Right.
And at first, she's very sneaky, she's very conniving, she's in it for herself, but you don't understand why she's in it for herself. You're thinking that she's a very selfish character to the point where
Right.
she doesn't become relatable. But then once you get into the island and get into her plot points and her flashback as a kid, you realize then, okay, so basically she's doing this to save the island.
Right. Her little town. And
Mhm.
how the head shark guy, let's see, Arlong,
Gargoyle.
how
Yeah.
Arlong was able, how he just killed the mother right in front of them, and then the deal that she made, because like you said, John, you get that she's a little shifty, she's sneaky, and she is out for self, like when she took the map, I mean, it hurt me to my heart, because I'm like, really, she's gonna, I really thought she wasn't gonna come back, and
Me too.
but looking at her childhood, in the tangerine, the village with all the tangerines and all that, growing up poor, but to find out that she was on a mission to help buy the village back and buy their freedom, and then you understand why she did everything.
Exactly. And then
I think a
also
beautiful
too,
little
yeah.
touch with that was with the tangerine thing, like you said. Like, I loved when we finally got that moment where her sister confronted her and she explained exactly what you just said. When they went to the mum's little gravesite, she put that tangerine flower there.
Yes,
And, oh my
right.
God, my heart.
Yes,
And I
right.
just thought how, like, it was 8 episodes and we got so attached to these characters that it was funny, it was emotional, it was adventurous, it was exciting. Like, you felt so much from this, exactly like the Twisted Metal thing. Like, it's not a franchise that I knew of,
Right.
but yeah, I felt so attached and so emotionally invested in these characters. Whether it was the writing, whether it was the acting, I don't know, but together it was a masterpiece in my opinion. I thought it was great.
I thought so too, to be honest with you. Like Rossi said, it's hard to actually get people on board who are not fans of anime and try to transfer it over into a live action adaptation, hoping that it would work. And
Yeah.
having the people on board that does the anime actually helps. But there's actually another character I really like. I like Zip, who was actually the chef, which is like the Gordon
Yes.
Ramsay
Oh my gosh,
type
yes.
Right.
person. And I love the banter between them and everything too, between the chef and also the person who does what's his name?
His name isn't it, was it Sanji?
Yeah, Sanji.
Sanji. Yeah,
Sanji and
Sanji.
Zeph.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't pronounce it properly.
Sanji and Zeph. Yeah.
Zeph.
Yeah, those two characters, that was like a Gordon Ramsay type character.
Absolutely.
And at first you're thinking that this guy's a douche and everything and stuff like that. And then when you get into the origin story of them, he'd gnawed off his own leg
Right.
just to save him.
Like, what?
Right.
It was so
sad.
85 days. 85 days. And when he realizes, like, how are you alive? How are you able to be alive? And then he looks and you see, and I'm thinking, oh, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. And to find out that he did, he ate his own leg. That story between the two of them was just amazing story, 85 days. And then that's why he's still with, Chef Zeph, even though he wants to own that place and become head chef, he owes him his life.
Right.
It's like
And
his father, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that story was
moment
good.
but the ending there, where even in their final goodbyes,
moments.
Right.
they were still very both stubborn, and I'm not going to
Yeah.
give in to you, son, and I'm not going to give in to you, dad.
Right.
And then when Sanji turned around and he was really emotional, he's like, I owe my life to you. Like,
I cried.
I'm crying.
Me too.
Did you cry? I cried. I teared up.
I'll be honest with you. I cried man
I get
tears.
goosebumps thinking about it. It's so sad. And again, like, he was a stranger, and going back to the goodness of these characters, like, this guy was a pirate. This guy was all about jewels and making money and finding the One Piece as well. And yet he took this boy under his wing and cared more about him having a future. Even when he was talking to Garp about the kids, he's like, these new pirates are coming through, like, let them be. We've had our time, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, you need to pass the mantle on to these younger kids. Like, he had this sort of respect for the young kids, and care for them. Even though he was a pirate who was supposed to be, pirates are bad, he had a good heart just as much as Luffy does. So yeah, I could talk about it.
And I also like how Zeb is basically forcing Sanji on the ship with them. Look, go do your dream. You do you.
Right.
There's more to life than this place here.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I like how he got recruited with them, and now he has a chef now on board.
Right.
He's now has a first mate. He has people that he can trust. Luffy can trust, and I like how they named them the Straw Hat Pirates, which I thought was really funny on that aspect of it. And then, another thing that I really have to say I really loved was, I was just geeking out this whole entire season because I really loved it that much.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also that one scene where the Marines are actually chasing after them, and then he winds up the cannonball comes at them. Luffy goes on ahead and basically bounces his rubber stomach bounces it.
Yeah. That's what I liked about it. Like you never knew what he was, capable of. You thought just stretchy arms or stretchy legs, and then he's able to do all this other stuff. And I love that because they're like, you didn't even tell us that you knew how to do that. And he's like, he didn't even realize that he knew how to do that. But I love that part. And then even, when that scene happened, remember, guys, we find out who his grandfather is.
Right.
He never mentioned that his grandfather was the head of the Marines. I mean, I remember when that, I was like, what? And so there you go. I got to watch the next episode.
Yeah.
And I like how basically Nami is like, you're just going to ignore the fact that that's his grandfather?
Right.
He's like, no big deal. But to her, it's like, it's a very big deal because of the fact that it leaves them, at a higher marker now because of that. And more of a risk.
And also, remember, Grandpa's sending out all these people to go and try to, kill or, retrieve, Luffy and the gang. So, yeah, you just brought danger to all of us, and your grandfather's the head Marine that's been hunting us this whole time. You never told us. So, yeah, I got where she was coming from, but still, like Zoro said, like it's, at that point, Zoro trusted him. So, and I felt the same way. Like there's no ill intentions. He just didn't tell you.
Exactly. And that's how I felt too. They actually know that Luffy's not going to let them down.
Right.
And they're always going to try to find a way out of something with Luffy being in control of stuff. Yeah. And then also too, I like how it goes back to Shanks about, whenever he was just a kid and Shanks winds up sacrificing his arm for Luffy.
Right.
Which I thought was another touching moment that hit me with the feels. And I cried man tears again. My wife was just looking at me like,
connection to the hat. Like it was Shanks's hat. And, the fact that he was so protective of it. And then even Nami, when she like sewed it back together, like those moments there, the bond that they all have as characters, but also with the actors. Like I feel like those actors just totally nailed their character that I haven't seen any person that's watched the animes that's complained about the parallels between the actors and the characters. They've just done a really good job.
I just thought some of the shark, the fish people, I thought they're just, if we talk about just the uniforms, the clothing, because it wasn't, it was like modern day clothing, because you would see a picture of the one guy that Zoro cut his hair. You see a picture on a wall of him with these glasses on. They're like modern day glassware. So the outfits and everything that they put him on was just really different and unique. And I kind of felt like I was watching characters from Whoville at times, because some of the hairstyles, you know what I mean? It's like Dr. Seuss, but it was just, I really love this. I didn't think I would like One Piece, but wow.
Same. Because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this or not. Then next thing you know it, the very first introduction, I'm like, okay, I'm sold. I need to see what's going to happen next with these characters. And it makes you really feel invested. And another character that makes me feel really invested is like Yuzo P. I think that's how you say his name.
Yuzo?
Yuzo. Yeah,
Yuzo.
thank you.
Yuzo.
Yuzo.
Yeah.
And I like how he's like, the pirates are coming, and pirates are coming. And they're like, yeah, okay, kid, whatever.
Yeah.
Because he's
Right.
done that
He
ever
was
since he was a
Like, well,
kid.
hey,
Yeah.
But he was telling the truth the whole time, you know,
Mhm.
absolutely the whole time he was telling the truth. And him wanting to be a great warrior, you know, a pirate warrior. I thought when they brought him along, it was absolutely funny. He just he needed to be there. And to see the character that the original character from the series and to see that they matched him with it, he was a great addition to the gang. I forgot that he was even, you know, part of the gang until you see like the go back and watch the cartoon. It's like, oh, okay, that's him with the long nose. But I loved him as a character, very funny, great guy, and absolutely loyal.
yeah.
Definitely. And then it hits you in the feels again with the mother dying because his father's gone.
Right.
And yeah, this is a little bit of laughter, a little bit of emotional roller
Yes.
coaster, just playing with us the whole entire time.
Right.
But I think it's very well needed, though, to help balance out these characters and where they come from.
I also, did you guys notice it? Luffy's clothing changed according to what he wore in episodes of One Piece because, you know, he had the straw hat, then he had the red thing wrapped around the straw hat, then he had on the blue, and then he, you know, and then he had on his regular stuff. Those are little things I noticed. I like how they switched up because when you watch the anime series, you see him in all these different outfits that he has on. So, but the shoes, everything was perfect. Like I said, he was a lovable character.
He was. And, you know, I definitely noticed that because it's kind of like going through the rankings of where you were. And then as you're getting all these things together, like the ship, and then you're getting your crew and everything else, you're climbing up through the rankings of that to be a captain.
Right.
And that's what I felt like what the clothing meant. It actually felt more like a character than it did just clothes.
Right.
And was able to expand on who his character is,
right.
which I thought was really cool.
Right.
Yeah.
I was excited when we got the ship. I was like, yes, we got a ship. Like we finally got a
Yeah.
ship and the showdown to get that ship, you know, with the butler, you know,
Right.
and how that all went down, you know. So them having a ship, it was so exciting. Him sitting at the top of the lamb's head or goat head, whatever was on the front of the ship, and just everyone's just happy, you know. And even though they're still not saying they're part of the crew, you know, they've achieved something. And so it was just really exciting because I felt like I was along the journey with them. Like, I can't
Me
wait
too.
to, how are we going to get a ship? You know, we got to get a ship. How are we going to go about doing that? And then knowing that there's basically a boss battle that's coming up and how we're going to get out of that. So I loved when we got the ship. That was really exciting. And I was so happy for him. Like, he did it. He got his ship. Like, he is going to, you know, be
He
the
is
best
the
pirate
one-
and
yeah.
find One Piece. Yeah, like
Right.
he
Yeah,
is. He really
the king
is.
of the pirates. Yeah.
Yeah, the king of the pirates. Absolutely. Yes. I believed in him.
Me too.
Yeah.
I did too. And that's one of the things that I can say that you can say about his character. He is believable to the point where he convinces you, just as he convinces
Yes.
himself, that he is going to be the king of the pirates. And I like how he makes that reservation, how he sneaks into the restaurant
Right.
and he goes, and they're like, yeah, he's going to be the future king of pirates. Can we do an IOU? I'm like,
That's
One of
right.
everything. Make that two of everything.
I was like, how is he going to pay for that? I'm like, maybe I missed something. There's some cash he has hidden. But then when Zeph comes out of the kitchen and is like, you know, this is how much you owe. And then when he explains to him, when I find the One Piece, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to pay that tab, and takes him back in the kitchen, washes all the dishes. And then we get to know, Sanji a little bit more. But I love that scene because he was serious, you know, I'm going to find the One Piece and I will pay you back. Love that.
And we all believed it. Like,
I
100%.
like,
I believe that when he gets that money, he's going back.
He's going back. Absolutely.
Yes.
He's going back.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be funny though, like if once they actually get to a last season, if he goes back over there and just pays him the money anyways, even though he did his chores,
right,
to pay everything, I would just laugh my ass off at that.
Right.
But Bugsy was also another character, which is a clown, that I thought was really interesting on how they played that off because of the fact that, we actually get to see monkey go ahead and take pirates down. But when you find out that he ate the same fruit that Bugsy did, it makes
Right.
us feel in danger for him because, like, okay, oh shit, we haven't experienced somebody like this, you know?
I was
And that's what
nervous
I
when
love.
go ahead, Jamie.
I was just about to say that that's the thing that I love about this show is you meet a villain, let's say, and you think, oh, okay, they're going to defeat this one, they're going to defeat that one.
Right.
But when you look at Buggy specifically, how can you kill someone who can literally split
Right.
themselves into pieces?
Right.
How
Right.
can you kill someone who has stealth abilities and is quick like the Flash? How can you defeat like every pirate? Like Shanks looks like, I don't know what Shanks's abilities are, to be honest with you. We didn't get enough of him, but like it looks like he can look either people or monsters and with his eyes manipulate them or what they're thinking or what they're doing. So it's like, how can this boy who is pretty much, let's just say, stretchy and delightful, how
Right.
can he defeat like how can those powers overcome all of these pirates and their superpowers? So I loved the difference in abilities, and I'm also really curious to see the other pirates in the future,
Right.
6, 7, 8 series that we end up getting, what more there is to tell and what more abilities that we're gonna see. I'm really excited for the rest of that.
Right. And to
Same
piggyback
here.
off of what you said, Jamie, yeah, that I was thinking that, like, how is he going to beat, Buggy? How is that going to happen when you see that he's able to do the same things and quicker,
Yeah.
So when they finally wrap up that fight and they're putting each part in each box, I mean, I didn't even think that was even a possibility. I'm just trying to figure out, how are we going to do this? And when they did that, I'm like, okay, that was smart. That was really smart. So yeah, and he was his character. He was a funny character. Love Buggy, absolutely fun character. And I was happy to see him again later on. And when you see him again later on, for me, I start laughing because it's like they just got his head, but he's still talking shit. He's still talking shit, and I love Buggy. Yeah, great villain.
Yeah.
Most definitely one of my favorite villains in this series because, like you said, Ross, he's just over there talking shit the whole time. His body's not even there. And then when he gets to the island, he's actually hung up on a dartboard and he's still talking shit while he's on the dartboard.
Yes.
And it was just great. And then it lines up with Vita and him talking at the very end of the season.
Yes.
And everything too.
I was shocked to see her. I was like, she's alive, okay? Because they just showed him, catapult her, kick her off the ship. So when you see her sitting there, I'm like, no way, she's still freaking alive. That's awesome. Also, guys, Hawkeyes, the one dude that looked like the Dracula looking dude with the Hawkeyes, he was amazing. When Zoro and him fought, that scene,
that was the best. Hey,
I thought that Zoro would have won that one. I was sure of it, and when he got cut open, I thought he was gonna die. I was sitting there tearing up, because when Luffy starts getting upset or tearing up at that scene, and he loves Zoro, I was crying too. I was like, please let him live. Please don't let him die.
Yeah, his backstory was so beautiful to see how much spirit he had and the fact that he wanted to die with honor. Like, he was very happy. He knew it was his mission. He knew he was able to accept defeat and accept death. And Mihawk turned around and he's like, no, like, I'm going to spare you. I see potential in you. And yeah, the fact that Mihawk had that same respect and honor that, he knew, he could sense the passion and the I guess honor is the word I'm looking for, that Zoro had, and he spared him. So yeah, I thought that was really good too.
Right.
Beautiful character. Stunning eyes. So dreamy. I mean, he was
tall, dark, and handsome. Tall, dark, and handsome. And the fight with him on the beach, because when he when they introduce him, obviously he's a badass. He has his awesome sword. Love that. He's on the beach and just killing guys, just killing guys. And when they show him, I'm like, there's no way they're gonna get around him. No freaking way are they going to be able to get around him. Awesome villain. And to see him, killed, or actually you don't see, you hear on the phone that the other guy that was on the beach, that he, basically executed him. okay, this is, Mihawk is a badass, and I don't know how they're going to get around him. And I did appreciate the fact that, no matter how good Zoro is, he wasn't able to win that battle. That was one that he couldn't win. But like you said, the respect that he got.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also too, another thing that I liked about that battle was whenever his blades get broken, it made me have that oh shit moment. I'm like, Zoro may not make it out of alive because of that, because he loves his swords. He's a marksman when it comes down to his swords, and to see him get down to maybe one sword, I'm like, yeah, this is not going to end well.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of a Final Fantasy battle where you actually have the big swords and stuff like that too.
Yes.
And then when his character doesn't have enough XP, which, but I just felt really bad for Zoro, and I'm like, oh my god, what's going to happen? And then Luffy winds up bringing him back over to Zeph. Zeph winds up trying to help the situation, and I teared up. I really did.
Me too. It hurt me when he got hurt, because we met him earlier on, when he was when he caught that one or killed that one pirate, and him being a pirate hunter. But his character, I really liked his character. And then, like Jamie said, his childhood, him wanting to be the best swordsman, and the relationship he had with the one girl in his village who was the best out of all of them, and the conversation that she's having, telling him, like, you're going to be better than me one day, because you're a guy and you're going to grow strong and all this. And I love how he's like, forget that. No, you and I are going to be the best. And then you find out they practice every day, and you find out that she died. I cried on that part because I was hoping that we'd be able to see her again. I really wanted to see her again.
Yeah. And then the confidence, I guess, that he had in going up and saying that sword is his.
Yes.
And that's where he got the significance of that third sword. It was funny at the start. Luffy's like, oh, he's got 3 swords. How does he even use the third one? And you see him like pulling it in his mouth and whatnot. But then, when you get to that backstory and realize how he got that sword, it's very touching. And so I really like how they intertwine their backstories with the current story. And I loved that in the final episode that they basically closed that up with a beautiful big bow on it, by when they were all part of the crew, because they're now accepted as the crew, and they put their feet on the barrel, and they played that game of, I want to be the king of the pirates, and I want to be the greatest swordsman, and I want to, be a map collect. I can't remember what her thing actually was, but she wanted to be the collector of maps, or draw maps or whatnot. And Usopp as well. Like, they all put their feet on the barrel and said their dreams, but when they were doing that, it intertwined with the same dreams that they had when they were kids. Like, they all still wanted to be the pirate king. He still wanted to be the greatest swordsman. So it was really beautiful to see that come full circle.
Right. And to finally see that, Luffy did, he got his face on a wanted poster. And the buried, or whatever they call it, that was on his head, was more than any other pirate. So him being excited, I was laughing when he was laughing at that, because he was like, yes, I did it, I made it, I'm on and went and showed them, guys, look, look. And then them understanding, okay, now we're in a lot of trouble now, because everybody's gonna want to come for us. And I love how they showed everyone who got that paper that knew him, and them opening it up, the paper, and just,
me too,
being pleased and kind of happy, and some saying, we got to get him.
Even Shanks, he's like,
closed out beautiful.
Yeah, even with Shanks laying on the beach and everything, he goes, son of a bitch, he did it.
Yeah. And he's been telling him since he was like 8 years old, I'm going to be that. So, and I do want to bring up the battle between he and his grandpa. That would be
that's what I wanted to talk about too.
Yeah, that battle. I thought that he would be able to defeat his grandfather, because he's gone through all this, and he's got all this powers and stuff, him being a rubber kid. But then you see that grandpa has the same abilities, like he's very strong, and how he defeated him, but respected him at the end, of that fight, and basically left him alone. I love that showdown. That was a really good showdown.
Same here. And I'm glad that he didn't defeat his grandfather, because it
Yeah.
goes to show you that Luffy is human. He has still things that he has to learn himself.
Yes.
And he doesn't become OP to the point where he's already learned everything, because
Right.
he's still young in his own self and he still has learning to do. Even his own grandfather said the same thing.
Right.
And he goes, I just had to see
it
for
was just a
myself.
test.
Yeah. And I love how I like how the grandfather tests people. He even did that with Kobe, with the Japanese checkers, though, too.
Right.
And stuff like
Yes.
that, to see his strategy.
Right.
So I thought that was a very interesting thing, too.
And the fact that he was invested in Kobe. For whatever reason, he was really invested in Kobe. I like the fact that at the end, Kobe's like, I'm not going to do this. Like, he wasn't going to follow orders that was given to him. And I like how Kobe maintained that throughout the whole series, which is, I want to be a Marine because I want to help people, not to hurt people, so the
And help
respect,
the right people.
and yeah, exactly. So great characters, every single one of them, great characters. Even the bad villains, what Argon or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I love that character. Great character. The fish people. I mean, everything about it was just absolutely interesting. The writers did a great job. The creators did a great job. So happy I watched it.
Same.
Let's see. Galaxy Hangout says, absolutely love this show.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Hey, Luke.
Hey, Luke. Thank you for tuning in. But, I definitely do like how Luffy was like, okay, well, I can't defeat these fish people, but I can bring down their house by making them destroy their own house.
Right.
I like that idea. And then you also see, I like how at first we don't understand why the shackles are there inside the house or anything like that,
right,
or why there's something being drawn on the walls or anything. Then when you find out it's Nomi's origin story, that's what breaks me.
That's chain there to draw maps. Yeah, when they showed that, because I remember when she first went there to give him the money, and she looks at the floor and you see the chains. And I wasn't thinking that she was chained there, but when you see that as a little girl, she was chained there to draw all those maps, because that's what she was good at. That was really sad. It was really sad. And the tattoo that she had to get at that age, and finally seeing that tattoo revealed, I'm like, okay, and when you realize she's part of that gang, I saw the tattoo and it's like, yeah, she's invested in them, until you understand why.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's doing it for the right reasons. She's not selfish or anything either. Even the townspeople are thinking that she's selfish and asking, why did she even come back? Even her own sister said, why did you even come back here?
Right.
Too. So, yeah, all in all, great season.
Yes.
I can't wait for season 2 to come out. But any other final thoughts before we close out?
Jamie?
No, I loved all of it. I couldn't fault anything. I love the characters. I love the plot. I love the pirate abilities, the villains, all of it. I loved all of it. Yeah.
Same here. I feel the same way. There's nothing that I could say they could do better. Something they didn't do. I really, really thought they did a great job. It was, I wish I wouldn't have blown through the season so fast. I wish there were like 10 episodes.
Same here.
I remember going back and checking to make sure, wait, is it over with? That's how good it was. So I recommend people go and watch One Piece live action series.
Same here as well. And I was even doing the same thing. I was thinking this might be like one of those discs that you get whenever you buy a CD where it has like a hidden, some hidden music behind it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe there's something else. And there's nothing else. I'm like, this sucks, because I was fully invested in this.
Yeah.
Just like how I was invested in Twisted Metal and everything too. I was invested with that show. And this also is hands down one of my other favorite shows of 2023 as well.
Absolutely.
So, with that being said, we're going to close out. But Jamie, do us the honor of telling us what you have going on your channel. Then we'll jump over to Rossie, and then we'll go over to me.
Sure. Over on my channel, I have the Daryl Dixon review coming up. And then every week I've been covering, or every week we're going to be covering, what are we covering? Gen V. I was about to say the boys, and I'm like, I know it's not that. I've got to to stop referring it to that. I've got to have it, let it have its own thing. So we're covering Gen V, and then Loki is coming up as well. So I'm going to be covering that weekly as well. But and you can find all that over at In the Front Row YT. But I also have a channel now specifically relating to gaming. So if you search for Gaming in the Front Row, that's where you'll find me there as well.
You can also find that link in the description below as well.
Thank you.
So you're very welcome. So, Rossie, what do you have cooking for your channel?
I know Wednesday I'm going to be reviewing and talking about the awesome film. Oh gosh, John, no one
sees.
No one.
Look at us women. We're forgetful.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that
It's okay.
No one can save you. No one can save you. No one
Okay.
can save you. I'm going to be reviewing that on Wednesday. I cannot wait to talk to you guys about that. That's an amazing film. And on Monday the 9th, John and I will be interviewing the writer, producer, and director of Sabbat Mitzvah, A Good Deed, Sabina Basharasha. She's going to be coming on our show on Monday. So that's what we have so far. And then you can look forward to another gaming show, probably in the middle of October, guys. We're going to be discussing the Assassin's Creed franchise and what to expect next.
Okay. And I think we're also going to try doing, or why do we love gangster movies, though, too?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And our Saw, we're doing a Saw review as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so each
also,
week
too,
you should be seeing this.
Yes. Mark your calendars for TBA to be announced. Matter of fact, I am going to be doing a ranking of all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies on October 11th with Soda. It's not going to be Serge Soda. It's actually Matt, my good friend Matt. We're going to be doing that for all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. So go ahead, check that out. But yeah, that's going to be it as far as this review goes of One Piece. I hope everyone enjoyed this review just as much as we did watching it. Give us a like, give us a follow. Don't forget to subscribe below. Don't forget to go ahead and subscribe over to Jamie's channel. It's fantastic. Don't forget to subscribe over to Rossie Talks. And don't forget to give us a 5-star review wherever you guys get your audio-only podcast as well. And always until next time, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. I can't wait to do this again. And bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.